You're listening to a portion of our conversation from episode 267, featuring the Jurassic Wire with myself, Brad Jost, and co-host Aaron Beyer. If you want to hear the full conversation, download the episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your shows. Today, we dive into some spoiler discussion from the end of episode 267. We started this conversation with a bit of chatter surrounding the recently leaked toy pictures that potentially tie into E750 from Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. What is it? Why does it look like this? And how will it factor into the show? Those are some of the things that we're going to discuss, so stick around to find out what we say about that. And as a note, after this portion of the show in episode 267, we did discuss some potential spoilery items for Jurassic World Dominion, so I would highly suggest staying away from this video if you do not want to know anything about Camp Cretaceous Season 3, or potentially any teased items from our Jurassic World Dominion discussion. You have been warned, there are potential spoilers in this episode. As always, be sure to let us know what you think, and of course, we hope you enjoy it. All right, so we're back to talk some spoilers here. Two things, spoiler for Camp Cretaceous and then one for, or something for Jurassic World Dominion. If you do not want to hear anything about either of those two things, any spoilers of those, just back out now. Just back out now to be safe, because we're going to interchange them. It's not like we're going to, who knows what's going to happen. So Big time spoilers here for both things. If you don't want to know, back out, get out of here, leave. I like to make this extended, spoiler bumper to as people are trying to click things and get their apps open or their screens closed. Anyway, let's start off here with some spoiler discussion for Camp Cretaceous Season 3 and talk about E750 a little bit. So let's
talk about it.
This is an interesting one. So a while back, let me give you a little bit of history, I guess, as far as this spoiler is concerned. So E750, we learned about that in Season 1, right? We learned about it from, whether I think it was like the computer or something like that, right? And then Season 2 comes around, and then we see that thawing, we see all that stuff happening there, and then we wonder what is in there, what's in the thing. We learned that there's another hybrid out there, and then at some point around Season 2, sometime around there, whether it was after or during, I don't remember, but there was a toy listing. And I don't remember the exact wording, but eventually we all broke it down to be called the Scorpius Rex. Mm-hmm. Scorpius Rex. So for a while, this name has been floating around, and everybody has said this is the Scorpius Rex, and it's a hybrid toy, and that's a hybrid from the show. So these two are obviously connected here. Sure. I've been kind of like saying for a while that I don't know why we're connecting these two dots. I'm still not sold completely on it and all that stuff. That sure, maybe they're just making some other hybrid toys or whatever. But I've been just trying to be cautious about it.
Are you thinking they're just doing it like Hasbro did for Jurassic World?
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I was just kind of assuming it could be the thing, but let's just say that maybe there's also other opportunities that it could be something else, or, because it was mostly just literally like the name and people knowing it's a hybrid and then attaching it straight to E750. So I thought it was a pretty jump to a logical, a strange conclusion. But here we are thinking that the Scorpius Rex tied here to Camp Cretaceous. What do you think about the name? Let's just start off with the name Scorpius Rex.
It's lame.
Tell me.
It's lame. I should have done that. I meant to prep for this. Dinosaur names are usually Latin, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm going to look up Indominus. I bet I get, okay. What does Indominus mean? Untamable king. A user from the kingdom says the name Indominus is of Latin origin and means untamable king. So let's Google, what does Scorpius mean? I bet it means nothing, and I bet this thing just Scorpius is one of the constellations. Zodiac is located in the southern celestial. Symbolism is the scorpion. So I'd be willing to bet this is some kind of like mix of an animal with a scorpion, and like literally like they were just as creative as being like, yeah, let's call it the Scorpius because there's the Indominus. Like, but the Indominus name exists. I have to take this out because I'm yelling. The Indominus name exists and sounds like a real dinosaur name. This doesn't sound like a real dinosaur name. This sounds like if it was an elephant, it would be Elephantus Rex. Like
it does sound weird. I'm not a huge fan of the name. I'm really not, especially when we had like kind of like a logical progression from Indominus Rex to Indoraptor. I mean, the entire conversation was, it was like we need to make these things smaller. So smaller is a raptor. So Indoraptor. It makes sense. They are too close, and I get them confused all the time, and it's super annoying. Yep. But and we had this conversation for anybody who didn't hear. We did talk about how this is interesting. How it like it had to have been produced. The Scorpius Rex E750 had to have been produced around the same time as the Indominus, right? It seems like it would have. We talked about the accelerated growth rate and all that stuff because it seems like Bumpy grew to basically an adult in just a few months' time. So the same is probably true for the Indominus Rex. I don't know if that's the timeline or not, but whatever's in this container E750 probably around the same time frame. So is this predating Indominus, or I don't know. If it's not, it's right around the same time. We did talk about how it kind of makes it less special, the Indominus. So Scorpius kind of would make you believe that maybe it was beforehand if it was some other naming convention or something like that. I don't know if it would be in between.
I think you're reading way too far into it. Like
maybe. I
think Scorpius is just the creation of this production crew. Do we know now that it's for Camp Cretaceous, or are we speculating?
Well, I mean, I guess honestly it's still speculation at this point as far as if it's tied to it. We have seen, and we do have images of the toy. The toy has been seen. So whether or not it is still E750 is still semi up in the air, but we don't really have much else to go on. So, and I am still kind of questioning the entire thing because the image that we have, and I do have some blurred out images. I'm not putting the entire thing up there. I don't want to just put it out there completely like that. But we do have this, and whatever this creature is does not really reflect what you see in that season 2 trailer. I don't know if do you have the unblurred versions?
Yeah, I do.
It does not reflect that eyeball, man. It really does not look anything like that. Because I did a whole. No, the eyeball is fine. The eyeball is fine. It's around the eyeball, the skin, the texture. None of that really looks like this creature that I'm looking at here.
I don't know. I think you might be asking a lot of a toy.
Sure.
And I think close-up image of that eye.
Yeah, but none of this skin pattern looks anything like what I see on that. So that is confusing to me. I did an entire live stream about like this eyeball, and we compared.
Why not?
We compared and contrasted like this eye and the skin around it to many different dinosaurs from the series, right? So we did like T-Rex, we did Spinosaurus, we did Velociraptors, and it really, to me, it looks a lot like the original Jurassic Park 1 Velociraptor. That skin pattern, it does kind of look like that. A lot of the dinosaurs that you see within the franchise have again, I was schooled by this in the comment section as far as what all this terminology is. For some reason, there's a bunch of eye experts out there on our live streams, and I very much appreciate that because I have no idea, and I still don't, so it didn't really sink in. But there's a bunch of terminology that I just don't really know. But the skin around the eye on a lot of the dinosaurs you see now in the films and stuff, it's smoother, and it's kind of feels like eyelids that lead into the eye that give it the availability to kind of blink and all that from different directions. If you look at the original Velociraptors, their skin pattern went straight up to the eye, just like this. You see what I mean? I don't know. There's something about it that it just feels like that Velociraptor pattern to me. But I'm just not getting that from this toy that's been released. Or not released, but the image that's out there, at least. It just doesn't exactly reflect that to me.
I mean, I'm just like looking at my T-Rex toy, and it looks like the T-Rex. They're not imprinting on her eyelids. They're not imprinting every little bump and stuff. Like, I just don't think you're gonna get that. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like you're really stretching it. Like,
I don't think so, man. I think when it comes to the different eye patterns, like they all look a certain way. Now, maybe this toy is different, but let's talk about this toy, because this toy does reflect what you would expect from a hybrid, right? So it does very much. What's that?
Yeah, I guess
it does very much look like a version of the Indoraptor, right? It does.
Yeah, that's my big thing. It's like the Indominus was like the prototype for the government, right? Like, it was weird what they were doing with the Indominus Rex in that movie. It was like, oh, the InGen is making a new attraction, but secretly kind of like dual using it to like create like a prototype hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, we're going to do them smaller in the next wave. And that's how you get the Indoraptor. If this toy represents something that happens pre or at the time of Indominus, then they've done it. They've accomplished it. So the Indoraptor becomes useless. Like, the Indoraptor's not special at all.
Yeah.
Because they've done it,
Yeah. I mean, the toy itself, I don't know if it's going to look like this in the show, if this even is the same thing, but
sure,
it feels like it is. It feels like it is that model that they're going for, right? So, it looks, the arms and the legs are very Indoraptor-esque, very long limbs, and we talked a lot about how the Indoraptor walks, right? It gallops and it doesn't run upright. That's what this looks like it does, right? It definitely looks like it's going to be a galloper, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look up the Indoraptor toy, because I feel like
the toy's great.
I feel like the limbs are even just like the same limbs. That just like,
no, these hands are like way thicker and bigger.
Are they?
Yeah.
Let's see. This is yeah, they're a little different here. What's a good one that I have of the hands? Yeah, the hands are pretty thick. And they're three claws instead of 4, I think, right? Is there 3 on there?
I'm looking at the Scorpius. Yes, there's 3.
3, yeah. 3 claws on the hand. Very big fingers on there. But it's got those same like arms as the Indominus, very long arm, or Indoraptor, I'm sorry. Legs very similar to the Indoraptor, except for you've got this like protrusions, however you say that word, out of the back of the like the back of the leg, which maybe that lends to the whole like scorpion kind of reference there. It's got these like little tails that poke out of the leg.
What does that do? What does that claw do? It serves no purpose.
I don't know, man. It looks interesting, but it's just one of those things that like kind of like Scorpius Rex. It sounds cool. This looks cool. Like has that cool, factor with all the quills off the arms. This claw thingy bone protruding out the back of the leg. It's black. It's a black dinosaur, straight, except for the underside is a tan, tan-ish color, yellowish tan, and the Indoraptor obviously had that like gold stripe down the side. And we have heard about there was a white Indoraptor. I would have much rather have seen like the white Indoraptor, because we heard that was going to be a thing that was included.
Yeah, I mean,
that would have been super cool.
I think the movie would have been actually much better had there been 2 Indoraptors.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't
that
know,
would have been super cool.
If you didn't know there was 2, you only thought there was 1.
Mm-hmm.
They kill it, and then I forget how I even set it up on this. I think I talked about it here, but it was like make it so that because you knew in Jurassic World that you were fighting against one Indominus. I thought it would have been cool for Jurassic World 2 to be like you think it's one Indoraptor, but like Grant says, right? You think there's 1, but then there's 2 more or whatever. Just thought that would have been kind of cool if it was like, oh, they killed the thing, and then nope, there's 1 that we didn't know about or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a movie writer. So.
Yeah, it does seem like between the Indominus and the Indoraptor, there was always 2, right? There's always supposed to be 2. So who knows? Maybe there's a second one of these things, the Scorpius.
It's got it's got this shell on the back, which is weird. Like,
yeah, it's like armor, like kind of down the back of the thing. And I gotta say, this does the head of this, and the fact that it's going to probably be positioned on all 4s does give it a big vibe of something like the Postosuchus. And I don't know if you know that blue toy that we have from Mattel. It's got it was kind of hard to get at some points, but if you look up a Postosuchus, kind of looks a lot like that.
Please.
What are some like actual looking
Yeah,
Postosuchus art? Yeah, kind of does look a lot like that. Even just Googling
has like stubbier arms. Oh man, you got one of those for Jurassic World?
I did. Yeah, I was able to. I forget how. I think I just pre-ordered it or got it on like Walmart or something.
Are they hard to get now?
Oh, I don't even know if it's something you can even get at this point. But it kind of does look like that in a way. Like the head shape, it's a little bit more snub nosed. This Scorpius thing, but it does kind of give off those vibes. Even the fact that it has like this like alligator back to it, kind of similar to what's going on here on this thing. So I don't know if that'll be some sort of factor in this creature or not. And maybe it could lead us into maybe Dominion having other creatures other than dinosaurs. We have heard and we've seen, the image from Colin, whatever that thing was. I forget at this point. You remember that that ugly, non-dinosaurus looking thing, whatever that was.
I'm thinking of the ones we did have a spoiler chat on some other lighting reference models and stuff, but
I don't know. But yeah, there was the thing that he showed off on Twitter. Like it was like whatever that thing is. But it seems like this movie Dominion's going to have a lot of like different kind of creatures and stuff. So maybe that could help, push people in that direction. And maybe it was bred with something like that. But I don't know why the heck you would make like the killer machine bred with the Postos. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. But
okay,
it's interesting looking. I just don't love the design. To me, and I know we talked about the timeline, the progression of when these things were made, and if it's we did talk about whether it's a failed experiment or something like that. So I could see that maybe this thing was a failed experiment because it just doesn't look all that intimidating to me. It doesn't really look.
I freeze it.
What's that?
I put it on ice.
Yeah, why put it on ice? Yeah, why do that? Like it just doesn't. There's a whole lot of questions.
Here's what I'll say about Scorpius Rex looking like Postosuchus. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 names are super obscure, right? Part of the fun of Jurassic Park was learning about new but real obscure dinosaurs. I didn't know what a Dilophosaurus was before Jurassic Park. I didn't know what a Gallimimus was before Jurassic Park. I knew the standard first grade heavy hitters. I knew T-Rex. I knew Triceratops. I knew Stegosaurus. I knew Brontosaurus, which when I was a kid was like Apatosaurus was like a new thing. Like, you know, younger people these days, like the Apatosaurus was not a thing until like before, like, I want to say the 90s. It was like all about Brontosaurus, right? But how much energy, like, so now, okay, so rather than just introduce the Postosuchus and have Darius be like, oh, that's a the Postosuchus, I heard, textbooks say that that's a nasty animal, and make up some narrative bull, right? They're going to just create something new and then give basically the same dialogue. Oh, the Scorpius Rex, that's a nasty animal. Like, do a real dinosaur. Like, why? I guess for like marketing purposes, because they can copyright the name, but like, it's not like they've been using the Indominus Rex. Well, actually, they have been using the Indominus Rex quite a bit. It's the Indoraptor's barely been used for anything. Oh, I want one so bad. I want like 3 or 4 of them.
Dude, it is a pretty awesome toy, and I love that thing, and I feel like that's around the same size that I would expect from that container that's in the trailer and in the key art and stuff like that. It feels very similar to that size, so I could definitely see this thing trouncing around like that size creature. But yeah, whatever. And let me just shout it out. At Luca2951. If you go to that Twitter handle, you'll find those pictures unblurred and stuff like that. So I just think overall it's not this thing. I think the Postosuchus is cool, but I think overall the whatever this thing is called, the Scorpius Rex is not my favorite looking thing. Now, if they were to say that, despite it looking kind of scary, with the claws and the horns on the back of the leg and the crazy face, like maybe it is nice or something like that. I would be into that idea, because it does, like, the face being like kind of snub nosed like that and not as like long and short. It's a little bit shorter. It does give it a nicer quality, right? Does it feel like a little nicer to you, or no?
No, because the head looks like a snake. The head looks
I guess I could see that.
It kind of looks like a snake, right? Like a python.
I could see something like a snake in there. Yeah, I guess so. It's not my favorite looking thing. I don't know, especially since it is so close to the Indoraptor.
That's the thing. It is so incredibly. I'm really blurring my camera. It's so incredibly similar. And it's like, I was saying earlier, I'm burned out on the hybrids. Like, I was burned out with them. Indominus was great, and then Hasbro like made like an entire line, and I'm like, no, like the special one was a great story. We knew we were gonna get the smaller version of it based on the movie, and I was kind of like even dreading that. I was like, don't do that. Like, you told me about it now. I'm not interested in it. Now I got to wait like 3 years to see something I'm not really interested in. I don't know. Yeah. I'm over it. Like, just introduce a new real dinosaur that is mean, or you think is mean, and then, like you're saying, like, maybe be nice or something.
Yeah, I definitely would have much rather have seen like a Troodon or something thrown in there, something that you could build off of, and it's real, and it could maybe, it doesn't have to look like some sort of hybrid crazy monster. It still could have hybrid tendencies in there, but just still be a real dinosaur, I don't see any reason why you couldn't. I mean, look at Blue alone. Like, Blue is that creature that I just described. Blue is, it seems like extra smart, trainable, and special. Something about her is special. So why couldn't we have a real dinosaur like that that's special in some way? That's why I feel like with the live tour, they did such a great job with Genie, despite it not necessarily looking exactly, correct, but it still was a real dinosaur that had special attributes to it. So this is just like another monster, but not far enough away. So this picture does look concept like. That doesn't look like a fully, finished product or whatever. I don't know.
No, because there's like hinges that are like the wrong color and stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, my lamp just went off.
So I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what this is, why it's here, where it came from. But we're tying this to Scorpius Rex and to Camp Cretaceous, and I'm just not thrilled. I'm not thrilled. I mean, I hope they do it justice. I hope it thrills me in the show. I want to be wowed, if you will.
Yeah, me too. I know I was kind of down on season 2, but like I said, I'm not going to not watch season 3. So prove me wrong. Like I say it all the time on this podcast, prove me wrong. Hopefully this is really cool. I don't know if I want to see this for 7 or 12 episodes or whatever it is they normally do.
Now there's two more extra episodes, so 10 episodes.
Oh wow,
this season, yeah. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm interested. I hope they do whatever this is justice, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. I don't love it based off the toy, but Mattel could have created something that looks a little bit different, or whatever. Maybe the pictures aren't that great. I don't know. But
now the question is, do you think because this season was supposed to kind of roll into Dominion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this has anything to do with Dominion? Do you think there was maybe production changes that happened on this show so that it didn't fit in with Dominion? Because Dominion now is so far out. Like, I wonder if the Scorpius Rex was going. I wonder if whatever this is in the canister, right? Because we don't really know. I wonder with whatever's in the canister was supposed to play more into Dominion, or if it really does play a lot in Dominion. Like, are we getting an animal spoiled for us that's in Dominion?
I was trying to look it up. I feel like I forget who had said it, but I think it was Tom Fishenden. I think had said something along the lines of like, yeah, what if this is something that is captured by Manticore or something like that? The company that we've heard of in this Camp Cretaceous. What did they want initially? They just wanted some like pictures and samples or whatever they could get their hands on. They had a drone. So they had to be offshore. So maybe they've come to get something, and I've actually teased it in whatever conversations I've had. Is like, if we do end up getting to that introduction to Fallen Kingdom where we actually see those guys extracting the bone from the Indominus, maybe there was a second team that was out there trying to get this thing back. I think that could be a possibility. That's certainly a real possibility that we just didn't see the other team trying to extract this thing, because if you're going to send out a team, you might as well send them all out at once. So this could be something that they were trying to get, but we just never, heard of it. And maybe, either of those two options I think could work well. If Manticore or whoever, maybe Manticore is another front for Biosyn or something like that. And eventually this does get in the hands of Biosyn or something. It's possible. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be in Dominion, but it could lead to conversations in Dominion or something like that,
Mm-hmm. I wonder, we don't have scale on this toy. And like we were saying about the tube, it's kind of small. I wonder if these are like really small animals. Do you think there's more than one of these animals in that tube and they let out like a swarm of them?
Oh, that would be kind of cool. I don't know. Dude, that would be so weird if this was like a mini dino sized toy, like from the Mattel scale, because there's no indication.
There's too many hinges for it to be like a.
Yeah, but that'd be funny if it was. But looking at the toy itself, it actually does look fairly long. Like, so maybe the tail was curled up inside, but I don't know, man. I have no idea. I think this is going to be, Velociraptor sized. And honestly, I'm afraid that what's going to happen is we haven't seen Blue in 2 seasons, really. We saw Blue quickly in both seasons.
Oh, yeah.
And that this is going to come out, it's going to attack the kids, and then Blue's going to be right around the corner to save the kids, and it's literally going to be, the same thing as the Indoraptor. So I'm afraid of that, man. I'm very afraid.
You just called it. Yep.
Because you can't keep waiting on Blue. Like, Blue has to show up in this show for some real consequences, I think.
Is she? Is she?
I think so. I'm honestly shocked that she hasn't been a part of this show. Like, that is their number one, outside of Owen, that is their number one selling point for this franchise right now. It's Blue and Owen. And
baby group, yeah.
And why my mind is blown. I know when we did like a lot of speculation before the show even showed up, I speculated that, we were definitely going to get an episode or whatever with Owen and maybe even Claire. And, I thought Blue would be a bigger part of it, but like the fact that we haven't gotten either of those two or Blue is crazy to me. Like especially Blue actually being on the island. That's wild. I just don't understand. So yeah, I feel like it's bound to happen. But as far as like whatever is in this season, I do think, you like what you were saying is you're on the right page where I think whatever this season does really will lead into whatever Dominion's doing. Like I said about the hunting portion in season 2, and I think earlier in the episode, I feel like that's a window into the reality of our world where there's going to be hunters hunting these dinosaurs. So I feel like whatever happens in this season will also be a window into that world too. So what it is, I don't know. But I had a huge theory on season 4, because when we get to season 4, we should have at that point already had Dominion, right? So Dominion would have come out right after this season 3, and then whatever's in season 4 should be drastically different, I think. So I think the kids get saved in season 3, and then season 4 is kind of like a prequel to Dominion in a way, or something like that. Like, it literally picks up with them seeing the events unfold from Lockwood Manor, and Bumpy was in there. There was Ankylosaurus there. Bumpy escapes from the manor, and the kids see him. Oh my God, that's Bumpy on the news. And then they go track.
Voice. You're so good at these voices, man.
They track down Bumpy, and they do a lot of dino riding.
As much as I hate the real voice, you did a good job, bud.
I don't know why. I've got a knack for it, I guess. But I think that would be an amazing way to continue the show, is like these kids try to track down Bumpy and then have some adventures in California. Maybe it's literally like a Fast and Furious movie where they all try to get the team together to go find the dinosaurs,
What if season 4 is season 3 is going to, because at the end of season 2, right, they're like, we're not waiting, right? We're going to try to get off the island or something, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
What if season 3 is about this animal, and season 4, what if in either this season or season 4, whatever, I don't know. What if the kids actually get back on the same boat, the Arcadia, right? The Arcadia?
Yeah.
What if they're also on the boat? Like, because like, what if their way off was like, well, there's this hunting troop here, sneak into their boat or whatever, and then that kind of puts them. What if Bumpy is the Ankylosaurus?
That's 3 years later. There's no way that this is a show that's going on for 3 years on this island. Like that's not happening.
3 years later.
No. I don't mean like spanned out over 3 years. I just mean like there's no way they're gonna let those kids stay on that island for 3 years. I don't see that happen. But I do think that like them saying goodbye, Bumpy, I don't think we're ever gonna see each other again, and then like oh
so
my God,
good.
it's Bumpy. And then he just shows up, and, Ben would definitely recognize him right away on the news, because he does have a distinct look. So,
yeah.
So I think that could be a fun way to do it, but that has nothing to do with the Scorpius Rex or anything like that. But yeah, that's about that. I don't love the name and I don't love the look. So that's where I stand.
Yep. Same here, man. Totally agree. Although, what else could you do at this point? Like, to be really, like, you're not gonna do a vicious Parasaurolophus. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Are you gonna do a part?
That's why I kind of just want them to do like the nice dinos. I think that would be the best way to go.
Yeah.
All right. So next up here, we're done.